All right. Questions for Grant? Start with Dan Wakey.
Grant, obviously we know that players have been discussing a lot of things in reference to tomorrow's game. I guess my question to you is, how frustrated are you and your teammates with the actions you guys have taken to this point and sort of the effects they've had? And we just heard from Pascal Siakam. He said, like, I just feel stuck. I guess what's the mindset of you guys right now?
Really, all we can hope and try to do is impact change, and that's something that we've always strive for. And we started with the kneeling. We were hoping that would send a message, and it sent a message. But then, as that message gets pushed out, and they stop showing us, so now it's more so about what can we do next to not only show that we're not only involved, but also show that we really care and that it saddens us to see nothing's changing. And there's something that has to happen. And that's part of the discussions and creative ways of how we can create change and how we can not only be there for those who are experiencing tough trials like the Blake family right now, and not only support them, but also show their story, send their message out to the communities and show how this world is and how we can hopefully be better and improve as a society, and not one by one, but hopefully as a whole.
Jared Weiss.
Hey, Grant. Brad was just talking about how this is an individual decision for each of you, but obviously, if you want to play an NBA game, you have to have a minimum amount of players to actually play the game. So if you guys hit that threshold where a certain number of players want to walk out and you can't actually field enough players, what do you think the process should be, and what do you think the decision should be as a whole group at that point?
The biggest thing that we all understand is, if we're not playing, what are we doing? What are we doing to show and to help what's going on outside this bubble? Because if we're just not playing, we don't play one game, does that really factor into the fact that we're not playing the whole series? Like, what are we doing to create that change? So that's part of the discussions we're making, and things that we can not only have some substance for, but understand how important that our platforms are and how important we are to not only this basketball community, but in the world, to the people that look up to us. And that's the most difficult part right now, because we love basketball, we love the sport we play. We understand the trials that we're going through right now, not only as a community, but also within the playoffs. So we have to make that decision as a whole, and also be supportive of each other. No matter if one person decides to sit out or 20, we have to support one another and be there for each other as brothers in arms, as young and diverse men.
Tim Bontemps.
Hey, Grant, you mentioned a couple times that there's you guys are discussing different things you can do. Obviously the idea of not playing is the one that's become the most prominent. Are you able to share, or have you guys actually had concrete discussions about other options if you're not able to share them, which I obviously would understand, in terms of other stuff that you could do that goes beyond, the stuff that you guys have done to this point?
I wouldn't say I can share that right now, just in terms of all the things that we're thinking of. However, we do know the importance of the platform that we have, and we do know that we have power enough to not only trickle down things on our teams and our owners, but also in our communities. And that's kind of how this world works. We have the platforms in which when we speak up, people listen, and that's really what we're focused on and what we're trying to communicate to one another.
Sherrod Blakely.
Yeah, hey, Grant, I wanted to ask you about just the challenge that a lot of you guys are having right now in being patient with the process of bringing about the systemic change that you guys are talking about, but at the same time, not standing still in the process. Because it seems that's one of the challenges that a lot of you guys who are in that bubble are kind of grappling with, how to balance those things out.
We do understand that change can't happen overnight. It's systemic, as you said. It's something that has been our system for 400 years. And in order for us to take one step at a time is the approach we have to take. But we also can't allow something to be stagnant. And that's how we felt how it was. Us playing these games, now we're on the television instead of the protests that are going on. Now we're on the television instead of the people who are dying and the people that are crying for their loved ones. And that's something that we can't have. We can't have something be stagnant. So our mentality is, how can we keep making steps day by day, taking these steps day by day to encourage change. It's really difficult to think about, because in this bubble, yes, we're playing basketball. That's supposed to be our sanctitude. But we're over here, guys are crying, guys are hurting right now because of what's going on. Like, you never know if that's your brother. What if it was my cousin? What if it was my family member? Like, that's something that weighs down on you. It's something that is very trying to the mind, and we just have to do something about. Like, there has to be something that we can do. There has to be civil discussions. There has to be someone who's willing to take that step forward in that initiative. And right now, we need that.
Thank you very much, Grant. We'll wrap it up right there.
Thank you.